through this week assignment, which we uploaded on GitHub. Here we're going to find the difference between these areas, these numbers. So we want the difference between the first and the last. So in order for us to get the first, we put them in square brackets. We start with 0 because this is considered the first. So 0, 1, 2 is first number, second one number, and third and is followed. So so it's the second minus the first, the last age number and the first. So in order to get the last element, we put the length minus 1 because there are 5. Here there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 numbers. But if we count 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's always minus 1 if you want to know the last element. Here's the similar. The difference between 9 elements, minus 1, and then we minus it from, take it away from the first element, which is 0. Use a loop to iterate through the area and calculate the average. It's a simple loop, for loop. Most of the examples I used for loop, which I thought that was easier for me. And so, in sum, as always, we always start on 0, and then we started with the for loop, and then we add every element to the sum. And because we are using average, we use double, because it's not going to give us a straight number. So it's the average is always the total, or the sum minus the numbers, which is age point length. And then we print it. If we want to print it down here, we can print it here. We have the first difference between the first is 90, the first and the last is 90, and similar to 36. And then we have the average, and the average per name, which is 3.8 here. So let's go back to here, create an array of string. Here we create an array string, and then we're gonna create a loop. For a loop, always we start with the int. Always start 0, and then we start the for loop. Every element we add it to the sum, which here is total letters, and then we, similar as before, which is the average letter, double, which is the sum. The average, is equals the sum, total letters, on the number of elements, name of length, and then we print out per name. So here, if we run this, okay. Average letters per name is 3.8. How do we access let's start here. Here, if we want to add space between each element, Sam, Tommy, Tim, so we added space, which is how we do this. It's everything the same for loop, because we're going to go to every letter, to every element. And if here, so we're going to remove the column here. We move the column. If I is less than name's point length minus 1, which considered on the last letter, last element. As I said, the minus 1 is always the last element. And we remove the bracket, the semicolon, and we add space to all names. So how do we so we print all names? Here we removed all the this and this. Sorry, where are they? Here, we removed this and this and removed everything here and just put space and print all names. How the axis is always, the first is 0 on the first bracket in the square bracket, because 0, the first number is always, or first element is 0, and the last one is here is the last element is minus h point length minus 1. Create an array called names length. Here, let's run this and see. So we concatenate Sam. Where are we here? Okay, here. So here is the element. The name has the name of the length, which is the number of elements. So we count 1, 2, 3, and then letters. So it's a normal for loop. It's asking to create a new array called name length. So int, because it's integer, we put int in close brackets because it's array. We name it names length, which equals to new int, and this name's length is the name point length. So it's the length of the names. Here's a normal for loop, and then we add each element to the name length, and then we print out the name length of each. We print out how many letters on each name. So here we have Sam has 3 letters and 5. Here, write a loop. Iterate over the names that goes through the name length area and calculates the sum. Here is it's similar as before, and it's something norm. It's something like before, something easy. We'll start with 0 and then the for loop, and then we add each element to the sum, and then we print out the name length sum. Here we're just gonna write methods. Down here we have methods. How do we write a method? It's not going to run. Just write the method. The public stated string. Ask for the string, and then we named it this one. And here we have the arguments. Always start empty, and then as the for loop, it's going to be smaller than the arguments, the numbers here. And then the word we added to the result. So it's going to print out, like, for example, hello, and then hello, hello, and then hello, hello, 2, 3. Here, full name, it's a simple one. Public static string full name. The arguments are first name and last name, and then we return it by concatenating everything. Write a method that takes an array of int, returns true or false. Here since it's true and false, we're gonna use a boolean, and then sum greater. We named the sum greater, and then here we have the arguments, integer numbers. So starting with 0 for loop, and the numbers, each element we add to the sum until sum is greater to 100. Similar, writing a method. Yes, here writing a method to that takes 2 arrays. So here I divided with 2 parts because it has num1 and num2. Similar, double average which is a sum divided by numbers, the length of the numbers, similar to here, double 2, because we have average, so we're going to use double, and then we have double average sum divided by the number of length. Return, we're going to return average 1. If it's true, the average of the, if it's true, it's going to change to, it's going to return true. Sorry, if it's true, it's going to, if average 1 is as long as average 1 is larger than average 2, it's going to return true. Here is writing a method, a simple method, which has Boolean, because is it hot outside or not, or we will drink. So we're using Boolean. Here we have 2 Boolean, 1 Boolean and a double. So what we're going to return is, if both are these, if it's true, if both of these are larger than 10.50, it's going to be true. That's our method for this. Now we have, so I'm going to create a method of my own. I used to create a Celsius Fahrenheit, changed to Celsius to Fahrenheit, which is how we're going to calculate Fahrenheit. Is Fahrenheit equals Celsius times 9, and all of this divided by 5, and then plus 32. Here we're going to return Fahrenheit. So we're going to run this and see everything, because they're only methods. It's not going to return anything. However, the last one I've created is because I added here everything above the information. Here we have the double temperature Celsius is 25, and the double temperature Fahrenheit equals the Celsius to Fahrenheit temperature Celsius, and then here is how we print it. It's going to be printed out here. So yes, thank you.